Okay, hello, morning, guys. This is the early bird crew, I guess. All right. Okay, so today we're going to be looking on some techniques in SketchUp, right? Um, I call them some advanced techniques. By the way, as usual, we are streaming on YouTube as well. It's not it's not a public stream, so you're not going to be able to Google it. But just in case you might miss something, this will help for those of us that maybe you perhaps missed something in the tutorial and you want to just in real time, flip back to see what was said. You can just use the stream to do that. All right, guys. Um, all right, cool. All right, so I'm gonna just paste the link in the chat. There we go. Copy and paste. All right, I'll also do a Zoom recording as a usual backup, just in case.
Recording in progress.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna be looking on some advanced techniques in SketchUp today. I also have some some more videos that I would like us to watch, and just for us to get a kind of general understanding of 3D. And then we do have a class activity which will require us to do some modeling in SketchUp. It's gonna be fun stuff. All right, guys. No boring stuff. But anyway, so you guys are onto your second project in studio, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. How is that? When is that? You've done interim for that already?
Interim is
What you said? Not yet.
This Friday, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. I hope you guys' confidence level is building as you go on. Right? So all the mistakes that you made in the previous studio, um now is the time to learn from those mistakes, right?
Yes, sir. I made some new mistake.
And make some more. Hey, guess what? That's how you learn, You need to make them know. All right? So I'm going to be looking forward again to see those of you who will be integrating some of the things that you learned in DDM in some of these sessions, right? Remember that, especially that now classes are online, to make use of any kind of digital note-taking tool, any kind of collaborative tool, right? It's not the Zoom alone that's out there. Remember, I guess you guys are already using Mirrorboard. Remember OneNote as well, And I hope you guys can also, well, the exercise that we're going to do today will kind of open doors for us as it relates to linking hand sketches with 3D modeling, right? And it's going to show us how to convert our hand sketches into 3D modeling. That's going to be our experiment today. All right, so everyone should have SketchUp up and ready to go. Part of what I'm doing today is pre-recorded as usual, and parts aren't. So you know we're going to do this hybrid style. Okay, so let's see now. Now, a part of what I want to discuss today is our assignment. And guess what? Things are going to get a bit interesting. Because what we're going to do is we're going to be branching off into two kinds of streams as it relates to work, right? But don't get scared. So we're going to be doing, on one end, we're going to be doing work that would help us with our assignment. On another end, we're going to be continuing our exercises in class, right? Because remember, the assignment is something that you need to kind of do on your own. It's not like an exercise where you literally do it in class and you follow every little thing I do and then you submit it, right? So, in essence, we're going to be doing two things at once. We're going to be working on exercises and we're going to be doing we're going to be doing different sessions during the period of your assignment. All right. So for this week though, we're going to focus on advanced SketchUp techniques, and let's see here. I'm gonna give you a preview of that. So if we head over to the website, right? Let's see. We go over to student as per usual. Let me turn up the quality of this because I realize that share might be blurry for some persons. But of course, that's going to slow down the video. It's going to get a little choppy, but you know, you guys will survive. All right, there we go. All right. So, if we head over to, right, so we head over to computing and then we head over to intro to DVM. There we go. All right, so if we take a look on our timeline, right? So we've been making some good schedule. So we've finished assignment 1, assignment 2, assignment 3, 4, and 5. So now we're in this realm now. So we're going to be doing advanced techniques using SketchUp. In the meantime, you're also going to get your assignment, your official assignment handout today, right? And we're going to be moving on our learning how to use InDesign through this 3-part portfolio assessment as well. So you might be saying, whoa, all right, the pressure turn up now. But don't worry, it's not gonna, it might seem that way on paper, but it's not so bad. So notice that during the assignment time here, you can see that this session here, I think I've done this already as a matter of fact, but anyway, so this session here and this session here will contribute to getting the assignment done. All right, so you pretty much have about 3 weeks, and the first 2 weeks I'm going to dedicate some time to giving you some tips to do the assignment. Now we're not going to do the assignment in class. You have to do the assignment on your own. You guys got me? All right, cool. All right. Anyway, so all right. So what we're going to take a look at, we're going to come back to you, is let's scroll down here. So we're going to go all the way down to Intro to 3D Tools, and we're going to use some of the assets here. All right. So this is where we're going to be for today. Now, I want to bring up the assignment. So let's go to assignment 1. All right. And this is what it looks like. Now, the idea of this assignment is that you are going to be learning how to model in SketchUp. So you guys are actually going to model this building, right? We're going to learn how to put a background on something that's done in SketchUp so we can get a kind of real look to it. And we're going to do some interesting effects in Photoshop. Now, I don't know if you can see this image here, but did we learn how to do transparent reflections in Photoshop? Anybody can tell me?
That's like when you clone the image, sir, and you make the opacity less or opacity.
Right. So which exercise did we do that in?
I don't remember.
Exactly. I hear somebody say car. So that is exercise 1.
Yes.
Right. So you realize that this assignment is going to now put together some of the things that we learned, right? We're continuing to learn how to do modeling in SketchUp. For those of us who already know, then you can go ahead and start. We also learn how to manipulate and cut out images from Photoshop. So this boat is actually a boat coming from Photoshop. It also has a reflection. And another thing we're going to learn is how do we composite in Photoshop. So notice the backgrounds here and how the building looks like it's actually in the background. So we are going to learn how to do those things over the next couple weeks, right? So the first thing we're going to do today is learn a bit more advanced techniques, right? All right. Now, let's put that down here now. All right, so let's scroll down a bit more. So these are all the drawings that you're going to be given. And I can tell you from now that yes, there are gaps. So there are things that you're going to have to figure out by way of proportions, right? But don't worry, we're going to get some practice on it today. This is what your building model should look like. This is what the end product should look like. And then what you're going to do is there are 3 things to submit. The first thing to submit is you're going to submit 2D. Oops. Here we go. You're going to submit a 2D trace in Illustrator, right, of the same plan. That's super easy because you're literally going to trace it. You're going to give me the SketchUp file and a JPEG of the SketchUp file. And then you're going to give me the composited file. And, well, I'm going to remove the PSD from the handout, I believe, because those files are usually big and over the years it full up my Google Drive. So I really just want the JPEG, right? All right. So these are the 3 deliverables that we're going to do for assignment 1, right? You're going to submit the assignment using this handout, this digital handout, and then we have some tips here that that we can go through. So that's pretty much the assignment in a nutshell. All right, guys. All right, so I'm gonna turn down the quality of the video again so that it will be smooth for you guys that's watching on Zoom. If you're watching on the YouTube stream, it will always be smooth even when we switch to HD. But for Zoom, it's gonna be a little choppy. But anyway, all right. So we should be smooth again now. So this is is what we're gonna do now. If you notice, I'm not a big fan of putting deadlines on handouts. What our measure of deadlines is going to be our timeline, which is here, right? So if you can see, what we're going to be doing, if I scroll across, is that the assignment is from October 6th, which is today, to October 20, which means the due date for the assignment is October 20. All right. So if there are any technical catastrophes, you can let me know of it, and you can, well, have your day in court to discuss it, and see if that will will prevent you from getting reduced marks. But if you hand in the work late, by default marks will be reduced, right? Now, I don't imagine that happening if we seem to be on a good schedule here. And even if you are not so versed with SketchUp, these tips that we're going to be going through over the next couple sessions, it will help you guys. All right. Okay, any questions thus far? Nope. Going once, going twice. All right. All right. Now, for today's class, what we're going to be doing is, well, let's check out some of these videos first. We got some interesting videos here. Where is that? Now, I believe we actually watched some of these already. Actually, yes, we did watch some of these already. Right. On how to do some of these things. So we don't need, I'm going to recommend that you guys check out some of these videos that is here. All right. Has anybody watched any of these videos yet? Nope.
What's there?
All right. So I want you to check them out because they're pretty cool. All right. So our activity today is going to involve these sketches that you see here, right? And they're just some really simplified sketches. And what we're going to do is model them, right? Now, I'm going to do the first one for you, which is pretty, I think it's pretty straightforward. And I want you guys, I'm going to need at least 3 from everybody, right? So you can pick any of these 3, but I'm going to only pick one and do for you. Now let me click on this sketch here. Now if you look on the sketch, I mean, this is literally it's a pretty nicely done hand sketch. But this could be anything. Think about when you're conceptualizing masses and spaces for your designs. Maybe you might sketch a box or a sphere or a cylinder and say, you know what, I'm going to have a room here. If you look at this sketch, the basic idea of this sketch is that, you might be saying, okay, I'm going to put my buildings on stilts. I'm going to raise it up off the ground. I'm going to have some kind of window here. And usually when you're brainstorming these ideas, for some of us or for most of us, I hope that we're actually sketching this out, because sketching is a way that we can get the raw information out of our brains, even if you draw a stick man, like me, right? I know that some of y'all are great artists. I remember seeing some of the works when you guys were applying for the school, so some of you really know how to draw. But when you're conceptualizing, you don't need to worry too much about, like, lighting and shadow and that kind of stuff, and to have everything precise. You're just trying to get an idea out there. So these drawings represent that experience. Just trying to quickly draw something to get your idea out here. Now, what I want to encourage you guys to do, right, is try and work on a workflow where you sketch. But when you're sketching, only sketch. You don't need 100%. So try sketching like maybe 50%, if not more. As soon as you have half or more than half of your sketches, then try and expand. Try and sketch in 3D, right? So I want you guys to convert to 3D sketch, right? And then after you convert what you sketch by hand into a 3D sketch, then you expand on your concept, right? So these very simple 3 concepts, right? Start with sketching to get the raw information out of your brain, right? Then you don't need to get everything out. Every door, every window, every tree. You just need about 50%, if not more, if not less. It varies. Then try and conceptualize your 3D, your sketch in 3D. And that will allow you to expand on your concept even more. So what we're going to look on are these two, because I will assume that you guys already know how to sketch. So we're going to look on these 2 areas now. How do we convert our sketch to 3D, and then how do we expand on the sketch, right? So what you guys are going to be doing is, these sketches that you see here represent the first part of that equation, right? Which is, sketching the beginnings of your of a concept. We are going to convert this sketch to 3D in SketchUp, right? And I call this 3D sketching because it's not going to be based on dimensions. It's going to be based on proportions. All right. So I want us to get our SketchUp ready to go. All right. You are going to need, I don't know if the web version will do everything that we are going to do now, so I'm hoping it will. Okay, so everybody have SketchUp ready? Yes, I hope. All right. All right, so we're going to switch over to SketchUp. And what I have here, I have an architectural millimeters SketchUp, right? And it doesn't matter what unit you really choose. Anyone is just fine. I'm going to go into toolbars, and I'm going to use my large tool set. I don't need my getting started tool set, and I don't need my advanced camera modifier. So pretty much all I need is these. Now, last time we used SketchUp, we pretty much ignored where are you? Right. we pretty much ignore our tray. For the most part, we had it minimized over on the right. But in this class, we're going to use that up. So if you still have your tray minimized from last class, we're going to be using it today. All right. All right. So as per usual, we're going to run through some of the pre-recorded content now, and then and that's how we'll do the tutorial. All right. So let's switch back over. Okay, so let's get the SketchUp up and ready. Now I want you guys to download those images for me from the website. So I'll give you about a minute or so for you guys to download that. All right, you're gonna go on the website, and those sketches that we pointed out earlier, I want you guys to download those sketches. All right. Anybody having any trouble downloading it or accessing those sketches?
Sir, where on the side that are the sketches again?
Right. So, let's see now. When you go to the website, all right. So when you're on the website, that's our website there. You need to scroll all the way down to Unit 3, Intro to 3D Tools. And in that window, you're going to scroll down till you see those sketches. So you can take all 4, but I just need you to do 3. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this into a little into our class participation activity. So I'll put a little form for you on the site for you to know to submit images of the 3. I don't need the SketchUp file, I just need the images. Okay? All right. Let me try and find my recorded video here. Portable apps. Sketchup NDI. To start. There we go. Alrighty.
Sir, do we download the 3D example as well?
The 3D what?
3D example there in the folder.
Oh no, don't download that. But I believe that's something I wanted to show you. No, don't worry. I'm gonna run through one of them to give you an idea of this. I'm just opening this up here to show you something. Excuse me one sec. All right. I'm just downloading that example there to show you guys. There you go. Where is it? Exercise files. There you go. Alrighty. We are at week what now? Week 9. Let's go here. Let's do that. Oh, okay. Well, I believe some of these examples here, this was examples based on the actual video. So I can show you those examples another time. For now, let's just dive right into working on the activity. All right. So I want you guys to tell me if you are getting audio from the video. I'm just trying to locate that recording. I think I found it. Okay, advanced. Sketchup exercise. Oh, where did you go? I'm sorry, guys. My recording seems to have disappeared or something. Trying to track it down. Where did it go? I'm wondering if it didn't get uploaded. or if it didn't save. I don't know. I'm trying to find it. Just give me a minute. Where did my recording go? Where, oh where? It seems to have vanished. Mm. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that I'm not finding it. Okay. I left this recording uploading, but I'm just not finding where it is. So I'm just trying to find it, guys, to see if this is for what we're going to be doing now. So that is what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to locate where it went. See. It went into week 6, Sketchup exercise 5. Okay. Let me search for that. My word, it's not there. Oh. Oh dear Lord. Okay. I'm sorry, I was looking in the wrong folder. Okay. Week 6. Okay. Okay, so well here. Oh, this we did that already. Oh dear Lord, we did that already. So what it seems like is it seems like my recording didn't get or it got corrupt or something. So I'm gonna have to just do this freestyle. Let me see. Today is what? Today is the 6th. That's right. And there are no recordings here. I don't know what happened. Something happened. Anyway. Alright, so you guys are with me still, right? Guys?
Yes, sir. Right here.
Alright, cool. Alright, so I'm just gonna manually go through it and I don't know. We'll that pre-recorded stuff. I'm not sure what happened to it when I left it uploading. But anyway. Alright, so we should have Sketchup open, right? And what we're going to do is, well, I would get an image of the model and have that right beside the SketchUp model here, right? So I'm going to dock mine side by side. So that is the image that that you guys downloaded from the website. So the one I'm gonna pick is let's see. Let me bring them up here. So we have that one, and that one. So I'm gonna pick that one. Man, I'm just like wondering, where did my recording go? Like, so much hours of recording and it just vanished. I bet you it's somewhere, but I don't know. Anyway, so what I want us to do is to take a look on this sketch, right? And notice how, if you were going to start modeling this, where would you start from? Let's get in some suggestions. Anybody? How would you start tackling this sketch? The mass in the cube? Alright, cool. Cool. Anybody else? How would you go about starting this sketch? Come on, guys. Think about when you were doing the Lego brick recently. So one person said mass in the cube. Tara, what do you think?
I would, at first glance, I would figure to create the cube first and then the bases as separate pieces and then join them together. But because I'm seeing that the feet aren't perfect rectangles, I'd probably try and create those first. And then use the push-pull tool to bring them up and make lines to create the cube.
Alright, cool. So let's see. So you're saying that you would perhaps start with the feet. Now, remember that this is a sketch. Like, imagine if you did this sketch. The interesting thing about a sketch is that you really don't know what is happening on the back parts of the sketches, right? I mean, it is indeed a sketch, and a lot of times when we sketch something, because we're kind of sketching in 2D, we don't know the full story of this sketch. I mean, what's really happening behind these walls? You know, what's happening behind here? And guess what? That's fine. That is fine for a sketch. Because what I would recommend is expanding on what happens behind these areas after you start to model it. You know, just expand your mind enough to get it as a model. All right, so you're saying start from the feet. Okay, cool. That's a fair assumption. Now, well, what I would do in this case is I wouldn't exactly start with drawing the feet, because I want to make sure that the feet are lined up. It's a kind of cross between what somebody had said, starting from the base, you know, because you can just pull this base upwards. So what I would do is kind of project what the base would be like on the ground, right? And to do that, I will grab my rectangle tool. That's right here. And I'm going to start modeling this from the center. An important thing to notice is that you get this little scale model here. And the great thing about this is that we can just assume that maybe this is maybe 5.5 feet. Right? Because it's the typical height of a person, right? So we could assume that the height here is perhaps 1 story. So maybe if a person was standing here, they would be like, maybe like so. Right? So that can help us to work out the proportion of how big the base would be. So my way of starting this would be to kind of project, you know, and imagine what the overall footprint of my building would be first. And then I start from that and work my way upwards. All right, so in order to do that, so I'm going to use the rectangle tool that is here. And I'm going to start from the center and draw outward. Now, remember when we were doing the Lego brick, we could go by dimensions, right? But because we're working off of proportions now, we are not going to be using dimensions to do this. Instead, we are going to just kind of sketch in 3D. Remember our objective here, right? We had this this model, and we want to reinterpret this model in 3D. So that is the first thing that we're going to do. So I'm going to draw this base, and I'm going to assume that maybe it's this big. Notice that as I'm drawing this base here, I am getting this diagonal line that tells me that that here is balanced. It's an equal square. And notice I get it here for a 60 degree and here for a 30 degree. So that is pretty cool. So we want to keep it at 45. Now remember that we are in perspective, so you know we can get camera tricked here. So I'm going to assume that maybe this is about this big, and click once. And there I have my base. So what I've done is kind of projected that this base is that there. So now I need to get my columns done up, right? You know what? I think I know what happened. I'm sorry, my brain is still just trying to figure out what happened to the recording. I think I know what happened. I bet you when I left it to encode, the PC probably blue screened. So I was expecting to wake up this morning and see that recording done. And that's probably what happened. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is maybe use the rectangle tool. And here is an important thing here now. I'm going to just sketch this outside here to demonstrate a point with Sketchup. Now, this would represent the base of, let's say, this column right there. Right? So all I would really need to do is to pull this upward. Right? Now, there is one thing that I want to highlight with SketchUp. Right? And that is, I call it the sticky fingers syndrome. And you might be saying like, what? What is that? So what happened is that if I use my selection tool, and I'm going to highlight this object here. Now if I go to my move tool and I click this object here and I move it here, that's all good and dandy. But guess what? If I try to move it again, it's stuck. Has anybody experienced this in SketchUp when you were doing the Lego brick?
Definitely.
And it's rather annoying.
Right. So I call this the sticky fingers syndrome. And really, it's, to me, for somebody who does modeling a lot, it's a bit weird because, you know, it shouldn't happen. But guess what? I've seen persons that start modeling with SketchUp, and when they go into another modeling program and when they touch two objects together, they expect it to like stick and it doesn't. And they're saying something is wrong with this program. But I can tell you definitely that something is wrong with SketchUp, not with the other programs, because this is such a weird feature. But it is a feature nonetheless. And it can work to your advantage if you like mentally accept it. Right? So anyway, this sticky fingers syndrome can work for you sometimes, but most times it's, as you say, a bit annoying. Now I'm going to undo that. Now the way to get around that is that you have to encase those faces in a group. And the fastest way to do that is if I use my direct selection tool here, I can right click and say make a group. Now once something is a group and you click on it, come on, click. Oh well, I already clicked on it, right? Then you will notice that you can't select these edges anymore. Right? Let me undo that. Right. So this is how it was before. And I'm able to select the edges. This is pretty normal with any face in with any surface in SketchUp. You're able to select edges, and you can kind of see those edges selected in the blue. Right, you can kind of see those edges selected in the blue. Or I could select the face in the center, and you can see it highlighted with those little dots right there, right? There they are. So that's the edge, and you can see that as the blue. Right, now when you make something a group, so I'm going to copy this out, and I'm going to use the regular copy, which is the equivalent of Control-C and then Control-V to paste. So I'm going to paste this here. Now to make it align, I'm going to hover over this edge here so that it's like that. Now this one, I'm going to make it a group. So I'm going to right click and say make a group. Now once it is a group, notice that when I select the object now, the whole thing is selected. If I try to select an edge, nope, the entire thing will be selected. So kind of think of it as a group in what program do we use? In Illustrator, right? It's kind of a it's kind of a similar thing. All right.
Similar in AutoCAD.
Oh, similar in AutoCAD. Okay, cool, cool. Right, so what we're going to do, the advantage with a group is that when I go to the move tool and I move this here and I try to move it again, then voila, no more sticky fingers. So that is great. So usually you find when most people create objects in SketchUp, they tend to group a lot. to avoid this sticky fingers thing, right? I mean, it's still the weirdest thing ever, right? So far we have the faces and we have the group. Now, if I wanted to edit the group, the quickest way to do that is I could double click, and notice when I double click, everything else goes pale, right? And when everything goes pale, it okay, I think, is the video slowing down for you guys? Let me see. Is there a delay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I figure as much. Let me free up some processors here. Yeah, I'm using like 100% of my CPU, because I'm trying to rebuild back my video that I lost while we're doing this. But Zoom is using up a bit of my resources as well. So, by the way, did you know that you can actually designate how much processing power you want to apply to a particular task in Windows? You can actually do that. So I'll give that as a tip another day. All right, but for now, let me just set this here. I'll make it use 4 processors. Okay, good. All right, let's see now. Is it back? Are you back? Are you back? Still kind of sluggish and horrible?
Yeah, it's okay. That's the quality of the video.
Yeah. No, it's a quality. Okay. All right, let's do that later. All right, now the thing is, I can improve the quality, but it's gonna get choppy. Tell me if it gets a little better over time. All right, as I free up some resources. But anyway, what I was saying is that if you wanted to edit this group, I would now have to double click it, and notice when I double click it, everything goes gray to tell me that I have this selected. And if you check it out, now I'm able to select these edges and I can manipulate them as I would. So you can kind of see that it's kind of encased in this kind of shell, right? And this is really telling us that, hey, you can now modify anything within the shell. Now, of course, everything within this shell would suffer from sticky fingers just the same. So if I'm within this mode and I draw a new object, where are you? Like that, maybe like that. Notice that it's now a part of this group, and hence, if I attempt to, oops, gotta select this first. If I attempt to move this there, and then move it again, it's going to be stuck within this group. All right, so let me undo that. So that is how you get inside a group. But the group by itself now, oh, by the way, to come out of the group, I just double click on the outside. You can also edit that group by right clicking and going to edit group as another alternative as well. All right. Okay, so the quality has improved a bit, right? Guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, that's great. That's great. All right, now I could go ahead and build out my columns with this group here. For example, I'm gonna do Control C. So I'm going to use my shortcuts now. Control C, Control V. And I could now go ahead and start billing out these columns that I have here. But I don't want to do that yet because I want to show you guys yet another feature that will be even more helpful. Right? So, so far we learned that that groups here can kind of circumvent that whole sticky fingers situation. But I want to introduce you to another object. So I'm going to copy this original and I'm going to do Control C and Control V again. I'm going to just put that there. All right, so now that, you know, to not get stuff mixed up, what we have here, okay, let's use a much thinner pen. Right, what we have here is faces. Then what we have here is a group. Now, for this third one, what we're going to do is we're going to make it a component, right? And to do that, we are going to, let's put this over here, right? So I'm going to attempt to select object like that. And I'm going to right click. And this time, instead of going to make group, I'm going to go to make component. And notice what you get with make component. Now you get these options here. And if you can see this, you will see that there is an area for you to name the object. And there is even some attributes that you can add to the object as well. Things like price and size and a URL. I mean, this is great. So this is like giving information to this object here. You can assign all this information to this object, including giving it a name. Now that is all well and done, but the advantage of doing this is that if I just, oh, oops. Right. So I'm going to name this, let's call it column. And I'm going to save it. All right. So what we have here in this third one is a component. Oh, forgive me. There is actually a class that is happening simultaneously with this class. Remember, guys, that I also lecture in other areas. So I think they're having some trouble in their Zoom session. Let me see what's up. Ah, okay. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me run to the rescue here for this other computing group. They're having some problems and I know how to solve it.
geometry.
What's happening here? All right, it's in the group. All right, coming back to you guys. Just trying to help out this other computing class. Just give me 1 minute here. Come on, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Oh Lord. Chat, no, participants. I need to make you the host. All right, good. Yes. All right, guys. You still with us?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Right. So, as I say, I'm gonna leave this. Leave meeting. Right. As I said, sorry about that, but I do wear many hats for UTech. All right. So, continuing. So what we did a while ago was to make a third one, and this one here, we made it into a component. Right? So these are like 3 different object types that you can have in SketchUp. Now, when an object is a component, apart from the fact that you can give it description and information, where it shines is, I'm going to show you this example, and if I copy this again. Now, I'm going to start showing you a new way to copy in SketchUp. Yes, we can copy using the Control-C, Control-V method, right? Which works in just about any other program. But instead, we're going to copy using the Move tool. And how that works is, just like how you would move the object, you just hold Control while you're moving the object. And then what will happen is that you will make a copy. So that is pretty cool, right? So hold Control, make a copy, hold Control, make a copy. You know, so as long as you're holding the Control, you're just going to make multiple copies. All right. Now, the great thing about a component now is that just like the group, if I go in and edit it now, when I edit one aspect of the component, all will edit as well. So that is pretty cool. Everybody seen that?
Yes, sir.
So you can see how that can be a major advantage in some areas, right? So I'm going to undo. And I think this is the perfect way for me now to make those columns. I can now make those columns using a component and just simply apply one of this to each one here. And the idea is that once I edit one of the columns, all of the columns will edit. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with my components and I'm going to move. So I'm going to move this one. Oops. I'm going to move this here. And I'm just going to estimate, or I could say guesstimate, you know, that maybe this is about here. Maybe. Right? So this here would represent, oops. That there would represent this guy there. And then I would just copy these. Right? So I'm going to use the same hold control while I use the move tool. So maybe that is there. But the internet is such a weird place. One day it's working and one day it's not. But anyway. And I'm gonna perhaps do another copy over here. So hold control. Oops, come on. Hold control. Copy it there. Now I can also rotate, and I would do that using my rotate tool, which is here. That's my rotate tool here. And to rotate, it's a little, well, I won't say tricky, but interesting. Now, when you're rotating, you have to make 3 clicks in Sketchup, right? Come on. There we go. Right, you need to make 3 clicks. So the first click is to set the center point of the rotation. The next click is to align your protractor. So I'm going to align my protractor this way. And the third click is to rotate the object according to how you rotate the protractor. Right? So 3 different clicks to rotate. You get used to it after a while. Alright, so I would say this column here, this column here would represent this column. Alright, now one of the things that I am really gonna throw to you guys is, if you remember that the idea that we had before, where we're using the sketch, the 3D sketch, to expand on our real sketch. So, you know, what happens here? And, you know, are there 2 columns here? These questions you wouldn't need to answer in your sketch, but now in 3D you need to answer them. So this is why I said that in 3D you have the ability to expand on your sketch even further, right? So start. Right. So we are going to make the assumption that, oops. Right, sorry. We're going to make the assumption that there are 2 more columns on this side. And to do that, we are going to select these 2. Now I'm going to hold Control to select both. And I'm going to go to my Move tool. And I'm going to hold Control while I move this over. And I want to keep it aligned. There we go. And I'm going to do the same thing for this. I'm going to hold Control while I use the Move tool again to keep it aligned. Now all of this is just sketching. I'm just kind of guessing where these measurements are, right? Alright, so if you guys are following along, you should be around the same point. All right. Anybody having any difficulties thus far? I'm gonna delete these.
Sir, I joined late, but I just wanted to let you know I had to reset my computer yesterday and I'm having trouble getting back the SketchUp application, so I might submit late tonight.
Okay. All right. All right. No problem. All right. Anybody else having any trouble thus far? Okay. All right. I guess everybody's good. Now, because we made all of these columns components, we can just go in.
Sir,
Oh, yeah?
Dante said someone would submit. Where do you submit this specific activity that we're doing?
I haven't put the button on the site yet. I haven't
Okay.
enabled it yet, right? So I'm gonna enable it under activity 3. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're gonna use because we made these objects a component. We're gonna double click and we're gonna use the push pull tool, and of course all our objects will be push pulled at once, which is pretty cool. So we're gonna assume that maybe this is one floor. So that means if this person is, 5 foot, then, we're gonna at least need about anywhere from about 2,000, 2,500, anywhere about 10 feet thereabout. So I'm gonna just guess it right about there. Let's make it a little taller. There we go. All right, cool. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to now establish the base. Let's see, this would be something like this. There we go. And we can see that this base is here, but we do need to establish this base here, and that would be somewhere.
Wait, sir.
Yeah.
So how do I need the components push up?
Oh, we use the push pull tool. That's this tool here that we had used in your Lego brick exercise.
Yes, sir, but when I try and click it, it doesn't.
Oh, you remember the component is like a group, so you would need to go into the group by double clicking, and you can know that you're in the group when everything else goes gray, and you can see that only this one object is highlighted.
Okay. Okay, yes, sir. All
You
right.
got it? All right, cool.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm actually, let me see, where am I now? Yeah, I'm at this point now. All right, so, well, we're gonna continue this. I'm gonna do it from a different share screen. All right, I've found back my my recording. Well, kinda. So I'm gonna use that now to continue the session. Just give me a little bit here.
Wait, sir.
Yeah, question?
Yeah, how did you say you're making them in comparison to the person?
I was gonna make it. I'm estimating maybe it's a story, so it's maybe about anywhere from 8 to 10 feet.
Okay.
So you can kind of see that from that there. All right, so moving on. So once we have that done, now what we want to do is to move the base up. Now what I chose to do here was to select the base and just copy it upwards. So this is where things get a little tricky, because come on. Right, because what I want to do is select this area here and just kind of copy that upwards so that I have a new base here, and then I will just extrude up from that again. All right, so that is my rough idea there. So now I'm going to use my move tool and my copy feature again. But here is the trick now. When I try to copy, you know, it's going to kind of copy off in the distance, you know, like that. But I want it to copy vertically up. So to do that, I need to angle my view better. Maybe like a view where I'm almost looking dead on. And then now, when I hold control, actually I just need to press control. I don't need to hold it. All right. You see that I'm getting that blue axis right there. So that is how I know that I'm going vertically up. So I'm going to grab it at about maybe here. Like that. And I've now made a copy at that point. So now I can see that this under part here is that part there. There we go. So we're getting somewhere.
So what should we save this as?
You can save it as class activity number 3. Alright, so now we have the under part there. Next we are gonna extrude this guy upwards. So we're gonna click and hold and extrude it upwards. And that should be about there. So now we can kind of see how the whole thing is coming together. Now, another thing I want to show you guys is, notice that the angle of perspective is a little different, right? So if you look here, you can kind of see the perspective lines. Why is it? Right, you can kind of see the perspective lines kind of going like that and like that. So, but our perspective is much more shallow. So, what we need to do is to change our field of view. And to do that, we're going to go to camera and go to field of view. And we're going to just click, hold, and drag it so that we get a bit more worm's eye view here. So you can kind of see how we are getting really similar to what we have there. All right, good stuff. Now, next we need to draw in these windows, and these are really simple. You could just, you know, kind of guesstimate where along here and use your pen tool and kind of just draw that in here. And this is where Sketchup shines, because its ability to just do this really easy and quickly. And we're going to use the push-pull tool to push inward there and push inward there. And to get this at the back, we can just use another rectangle tool. There we go. And we can use the push-pull tool and just kind of push it inward and like that. Now, at this point, we have recreated the sketch. But
Question, sorry.
yeah,
So you know when you did the columns and there were components and all those stuff and you push and pull it. Mine isn't pushing and pulling.
did you make them components? Well, you have to go in
Yes.
the group in order to do that.
Okay.
Right, so you need to double click those columns and go in that group.
Alright, so
Mm-hmm. All right, so now that we have there done, now here comes the part that I want you guys to figure out. What happens with the rest of the model? I mean, we definitely match the model to our sketch. And this is where recreating your model in SketchUp can really help, because you can now answer this question for yourselves. You can now develop what happens around here. Now, this I want you guys to do on your own. I want you guys to figure out some kind of interesting proportional push-pull solution for these other sides that you could not see in this model that was kind of behind these areas here. Now that you have 3D, you can fully develop this area here. And that's why I say, you know, my concept would be to sketch half the way, take it in 3D, and then build on top of that. And if you're a person that you like to sketch, then you know you could really just print out another view and then sketch on top of this view. But you're supposed to be working in tandem with the 3D tools, so that it works as a kind of a complement to the sketching tools. All right, now I realize I kind of walked you through the first one, right? And you only need to give me 3, all right, guys? And I believe you have 4 sketches there. Now, what I want, before you submit the file, remember, a part of this activity is for you to create your own visual style. So now I'm going to use this example to kind of explore what's going on with this, with the visual style. So I'm going to maximize this now that we're done with the sketch. Now it's time for us to use our default tray. And let me minimize this. This is what your default tray looks like when it's minimized, right? And if you notice, you see each of these have a kind of titles on each one. You know, you have materials and components and styles and tags, shadows, and so forth. Now, entity tells us what we have selected. So notice when I select this face here, it says, well, you have a face that's currently selected, and this is the area of that face. Very useful stuff, because if we just did this from a sketch, we could get the area of this by just clicking on this base here, and we know that, hey, this is 37 meters square. And remember, we didn't start this by doing using dimensions. We started it from a sketch and using proportion based on the height of this person. So already we have an idea of size, which is very important for design work. If I click on this line here, it would say that I have an edge selected, and this is the length of the edge, right? Now, down to shadows, you can enable or disable shadows using that button right there. So I'm going to click shadows and notice that I get my shadows there, and I can adjust my time of day and the date to kind of get the right shadow for me. All right, I can even adjust the shading and those things, but we're not going to trouble that right now. So this is fine as it is right there now. All right, so that is shadows. Now let's talk a little bit about materials. And materials work in tandem with the paint bucket tool, which you can see here. Now it works very similar to Photoshop. Those of you who are familiar with the paint bucket tool in Photoshop, Essentially, what you want to do is to select a material category here. So if I click this, drop down this there, you will see different material qualities, right? And well, you probably can't see the name of it here, so I'm going to make the stream a bit higher in resolution. There we go. So it might be a little choppy, but you'll be able to see a bit more of the listing here. Oh, okay. Right, so you can kind of see the listing that we have here. And what you want to do is, let's head over to colors. Let's go to colors named. Right, and here we have a bunch of colors here. So we could grab, I don't know, like a nice color like that. And the idea is that you just click and fill it with that color. It's as simple as that. Let's use a bluish color for the windows. Maybe like that. And let's, now if I don't remember what color I selected first, I can always use my pipette tool that's located here, and I can just sample this here and it will tell me, oh, that's the material that I use, so therefore I can just apply it again. There we go. Now to talk a little bit about texture. So now you may not have all of these features depending on the version of SketchUp that you have, but most SketchUp come with these default materials. So if, for example, I was to choose a wood texture here, and let me grab that texture. To apply it, I do the same thing. So let me apply wood here. And it's as simple as that. That is how we apply the wood texture. All right, any question thus far?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to recall where you got the shadows to fall on the edges, but I select the shadows so that most of the shadows on the edges. I don't see the shadows being stuck here.
All right, so when you select it, you're not seeing it being casted.
Right. I only see that if it's getting dark on light, so that shadow being cast, right?
Well, perhaps, let's see. When you go to the shadows, remember that you have to click this button here. Right. So a little bit inconspicuous, but that's the button that you need to click there. All right, good to go. All right, so now we're talking about texture. Suppose you wanted to let the wood texture be bigger. Then what you would need to do is you can now go to the Edit tab now, which is here. And in the Edit tab, you can actually change the actual texture that's being used. But more importantly, you can change the scale of the texture, which is here. So now, if I wanted to change, this is saying that it's 3048. So if I put it at 500, you can see the texture is smaller. If I put it at 5000, you can see that the texture is much bigger. So this updates in real time. So that is how you get texture in SketchUp. So you can kind of imagine how you can quickly preview something, a concept, even if it's not exactly what you will do in the final. You could, you know, quickly apply texture here. Now you can make your own texture as well, and to do that you would need to click this little create texture button here. And how that works is, well, it kind of starts from whatever texture you have selected. So if you have this texture selected and you go to create new texture, it's gonna start from that texture. So you can name it. So I'm gonna call this BDW material 2, and I'm gonna go to, now I can load my own image. So if I go on my computer and I go to, I do have some textures here. There we go. So I'm gonna choose maybe one of these textures that I have here. So let me grab one of these, maybe that one, choose OK. So notice that it has loaded this texture in, and I can set the size of it and so forth. So I can choose OK, and then I can apply this new texture on my objects. That was from my computer. All right, so that's pretty much how we go about using materials. Now the last and perhaps most important thing that I need you guys to learn is how do you apply styles. So I'm going to open the styles tab now. And this is probably the hallmark of why you would even use SketchUp in the first place, because SketchUp has a range of built-in styles. Now when you go to the style tab, and first thing you're going to notice is that you have these three tabs here. So you have a select a style, you can edit a style, or you can mix a style. I like to call that remix. So under the selector style, here you can see all the styles that you currently have. So if I, for example, chose, well, this is the style that I'm currently using, but if I chose this style, then now everything is wireframe, and woodworking style is this, and x-ray style is that. So you get the idea that these are different styles that you can pick. Right? This is the shaded style where it shows no texture and so forth. Now the great thing about this is that they have some really interesting styles here. So let's go to sketchy edges. Like, these styles are really cool, where you can start to see it applying these effects. Let's try a different one. All right. You guys seen that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's check out some other ones. Like, for example, the styles under this one that's called Style Builder. Competition winners, and these are some interesting styles. Now, in addition to this, you can actually make your own style. So, oh, this one is kind of weird, but you know, where it chooses color. And for those of you who are fans on that black and white, you know, or white and black, you know, these are some of those. All right, now let's go back to our default style here. Let's go to defaults and choose back our defaults here. Now, we can actually edit a particular style. So for example, in this default style here, we can change any one of these parameters, or edges, or fading, shading, or background, right? And under edges, we can, for example, say no edges. This one is and no profiles. So you can see that it has no edges or profiles now. Now this is going to be important for doing the assignment 1, because in our assignment we want to get a photorealistic look and we don't want to have those cartoony edges there like that. Now in addition to this, you can also set the thickness of edges, so we could even make that 8. You realize that it gets much thicker. These are the profiles. And things like extensions, like we could make the extensions 50. You can see they now have extensions. Let's make this smaller. Let's make it 4. There we go. We can put like jitter to let the lines kind of jitter a little bit. Endpoints, which adds like a little bulb to the end of the lines. And all of this is just under the line work alone. Let's turn on the depth, our edges here. So that's pretty cool. Now under faces, we can do things like make it completely transparent, or we can just make it monochrome, or no textures, it only shows color, or show both texture and color. And this mode where it shows everything one flat shade, or X-ray mode. So you know, there are quite a bit of effects that we can choose here. Now background is going to be important for us to create a background. And we're going to actually use this in our compositing exercise when we do this. But we'll tackle that another day. And we're going to use these two, backgrounds and watercolor. Watercolor is the one we're going to use in compositing. Background allows us to like turn off the sky, turn on or off the ground. So for example, if you wanted the background color to be black, well, that's a bad idea because the lines are black. Let's make it red. Then that's it. That's how you get the background to be red. Alright? And you can turn on sky and just have the ground red, or turn on ground and you can change the color of the sky and the color of the ground as well. So this, you know, you can combine so much style methods here to get a very unique model. Alright? So what I want you guys to do from me this class is I want you to, you're gonna model 3, you're gonna choose any 3 of those shapes and model them. 2, you're gonna expand on it. So if you remember when we showed our sketch here, we didn't know what was happening behind the building or behind where we can't see. So I want you to make up something there. And 3, I want you to configure a style. Meaning when you submit this, an image of this work, I don't want to see anybody submit the default style, which is that. I want you to make up your own style, you know, and submit the work. Any question?
Yes, so will the recording be posted?
Yeah man, the recording will be posted. As a matter of fact, it is already kind of available because we were streaming on YouTube. Right?
I have a question, sir.
Yeah, question?
Me consider like you make a style in one. Is there like you can save it as like a profile?
That is a great question. And the answer to that is yes, you can actually save a style. I was supposed to show that to you as well. So thank you for reminding me about that. So let's say that we configure this really awesome style. Let's say that as a matter of fact, I'm going to take this opportunity to show you the mixer, or as I call it, the remixer. So how this works is, if you take a particular style, let's say you start with that style, right? In the mixing area, and I'm talking about this area here, right? In that area, what it does, it allows you to select an aspect from a style down here and remix it with any one of these adjustments here. So how does that work? Well, let me show you. So if I select that style and I want to mix that style with the edges of another style, so let's choose that other style now. So let's say I go to sketchy edges, and let's say that this was my favorite sketchy edges here. Well, all I need to do is drag this style to edges, and what it will do is replace my edges with the edge of this style. So notice now this edge is now coming from this style, but it still kept everything from my original style. So let's go again. Let's say that I wanted the fill from another style. Let's see, like the style builder competition with us. Let's see, no, that's not that. Assorted styles. Alright, let's say that I like the style here, pencil and tracing paper. Photo model. Let's choose color sets. So let's say that I like how this color set works together. Well, I can grab this and I can replace face settings, and now the faces have this color set. Now the reason why nothing don't change is because in this, well, only here change, is that what this does is it gives any face that does not have a material, a blue material. So let's try a different style coming from style builder here. Right, so let's maybe try this one. There we go. So it will take the face style from this and put it here. Now the backgrounds is an interesting one, because if I like this background here, I can just drag it to backgrounds and it will take that background setting. I think I need to drag it to watermark. Is it water? Right. So watermark is the one that has the background here. So this is how the mixer works. You can pretty much just choose a style and remix it with the style that's on the screen. Now in terms of saving a style, you can do that by clicking the save button, which is here, the add new style button rather, and you just click that. And you will get a window. Where's that window? That window is supposed to pop up somewhere. I guess did it create another? Or do I have to be under?
I think it's right beside the create new button.
The create new button?
Yeah, that little window right on the left side there. Whenever I click it, you see it up on like a new style.
Right.
Like the style 3, style 4.
All right. See them down here. Hold on. So it doesn't make you name it. Oh, actually, yes, it does. The name is up here. Right. So I can call this my style. Right. And then it will name it. I thought it would pop a dialog box up where you had to name it, but it actually just dropped it down here for me. Okay, thanks for pointing that out. Right, so that's how you create a new style. So I want you guys to just use some random styles for your 3 models that you are gonna build. All right, and you can find that on the site. Can I go to the site here? Right, so when you go to the site here, pick any 3 of these, and I'm gonna drop a submission button. So this is class activity 1, activity 2. So I'm gonna drop a class activity 3 right here, and drop a form there that you can actually submit that work. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So that is pretty much it for today's class. It would have probably even been a bit shorter if my recording didn't, bump out on me. But I guess the evening class will have the benefit of a short class. But anyway, that's how life is. All right. So any questions? All right, no? All right. So I will make the stream available. I'll put a link to the stream on the regular class site as well. But if you were using the stream link, you can just scrub through that screen. All right, guys. So I guess this is it. So I want you guys to now finish working on these. And just submit them to me. All right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, take it easy. So next week we'll look on some more stuff. We're gonna be looking on at SketchUp, compositing, and InDesign. Those are our next main topics that we're gonna be moving on. Right? Now remember, you have, when somebody serves you a court document, they show up at your door and say you have been served. Well, for your assignment, you have been served. So today is the start day of your assignment. So I expect you guys to start modeling it out. You have 3 weeks, so there are some things with the assignment that if you're new to SketchUp, you would not have done yet. But we will be covering some other things for next class. But don't save it till last minute. All right? Try and at least start the model. I'm going to kind of run a little... Oh, by the way, there's a cheat sheet that's actually there. I call it cheat because I don't want you to feel good about looking at it. Let's see, where is it? Oh, actually, I didn't put a link to it anywhere. I thought I did put a link to some tips of how to model the building. But it's... Oh, here it is. No, that's where the backgrounds are. Oh, I didn't give you any tips. All right.
It's on the last sheet there.
It's on the yeah, but okay, I have some tips that I normally show. So tell you what, I'm gonna give that link out in the class. Let me find it on my Google Drive. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, I am locating it. mean, who gives an assignment and gives out a cheat sheet with it as well? That's just not right, right? Make a copy. And I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna put this under unit 3 so that you guys can have access to it. There we go. Integration. Assignment. Unit 3. Alright, I'm gonna call it no, that's not it. Dear Lord. You guys won't mind if I can't find that cheat sheet. Right? Or you guys want me to find it? Assignment 1. I can bet. I don't see it. Maybe I decided not to give you guys any more. Let me. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems that I've deleted it already or something. Because I don't see it anymore. Maybe I call it tips or something. Ah, crap, I found it, unfortunately. Probably buried it in some location. All right, so I'm going to drop that in unit 3. The same folder with those movies that I'm recommending you guys to watch. What's it called now? It's called Assignment 1. Well, this is actually the compositing guide. So this is only half the cheat sheet. Let me see if I find another guide for you there. This is for those of you who want to go ahead and do it. Be warned though, some persons go ahead and do the do the work, and then after a couple classes they realize that, oh man, I shouldn't have done this like that. So, you know, be wary of doing that. So this is a guide for doing the compositing part, right? This is after you have modeled the building. You know how to get the reflections and stuff like that. There we go. So that is pretty cool. So I've put that in the folder. I do. I found the 3D modeling guide. Unfortunately, right? So here is the 3D modeling guide. It tells you how to put it in SketchUp and get it scaled. I don't know if you guys know how to scale this stuff. Remember, we used the scale tool before. But don't worry about it. If you can't manage it, we'll be looking at some tips in the next class. But if you think that you can go ahead and manage it, then go ahead and start modeling it out. Alright? But be warned, you might do something and do it the wrong way. But that's how you learn, right? Am I right? Alright, so I'm going to put both of these guides in the Unit 3 folder. So if you look on the website, under Unit 3, scroll down. Oh, I probably have to refresh. There we go. Right, there they are. So we have the assignment 1 guide and the compositing guide. So those of you who want to move ahead with the assignment, you can use that. Okay, guys. So happy hunting. This is where I shall depart. All right. I will see you again on Monday. All right. Okay, guys. All right. Take it easy.